We don't live in the Matrix. We live in the loop. It's time to begin the loop. Yes, sirree. We have removed the word day, hour, month, year from the vocabulary. Nope. We live in the loop. We live in the loop. It's anchored by the morning show, Mornings in the Lab, the only show to help you guys get your day started, get your ass out of bed, and avoid the snooze button. Good morning, good time. Keith Bilous, C. Marty Fit, John Anderson. Joining us today, Adam House. We're leaning into the art of vulnerability, opening up your authentic self. Who the fuck are you? Honest to God, who are you? When you look in the mirror and you look around yourself, who are you? Are you that authentic self? And hey, just a reminder, today and every show we do here in the lab, if you got children in the room, you might want to put the headphones on. We might drop a few F-bombs. We might have some conversation that might make the kids feel uncomfortable. So, explicit show. As always, we get the accountability check-in, the 15-minute mark. Marty Fitness tip around the 30-minute mark. Of course, John's got his lifestyle tip. John's got a good one today. I know he does. He's been teasing it in the green room. And we got the creator spotlight coming to the 55-minute mark. And the loops begin. And hey, what we do here in the labs, we build business athletes. If you're an athlete, we help you with your business. If you're a business leader, well, we help you weave those athletic principles into your life to help you be the business athlete I know you wish to be. John Anderson, C. Marty Fit. Good morning, boys.
What's going on, brother?
How are you guys today?
Starting off the early morning, and it's the beginning of the 24-hour loop.
It is. The loop begins again today. I know we leaned into it yesterday, and I've been talking with some folks yesterday. I'm like, we got to get rid of the day. We got to get rid of the month, year. I'm really loving Anderson's terminology, Marty, on the loop. So we're just going to adopt it. The loop is what we are going to sell and talk about here in the lab, because then it never ends. And if we instill this attitude of a loop with habit stacking, success seems inevitable, John Anderson. It just seems inevitable.
And especially when you attach the 24-hour to the loop, because then you realize, God, this loop is not very long. I need to maximize my loop.
What I like about the idea of the loop, good morning, good time, good morning, Nola. What I like about the loop, Johnny, is we've been so conditioned as humans to think in days and months that it's like when we end the day, we condition ourselves to reward ourselves, right? Oh, the day is over, I'm going to go have a beer. Oh, the day is over, I'm going to go crush a box of crumbles. Oh, the day is over, I've done my workout I'm going to celebrate food for passion, not for purpose. Right, John Anderson? So
actually, I call that pleasure, food for pleasure.
I'm sorry. Yes. Food for pleasure instead of for purpose, right? So If we're thinking about the loop, we're thinking about the fuel going into our machine to enable the loop to continue, to get good rest, to get good sleep, to cycle up, to get going again, right? It's just a whole different mindset. I love it, man. I love it since we've been talking about it, frankly.
Yeah, 100%. And you just brought up another interesting point. So the way that our society or the world has got us programmed, we reach a milestone and we think, oh man, this is great. I just reached a goal. Yes. I'm gonna treat myself. And then people treat themselves. They reward a win with a loss. Okay, I'm gonna go eat that whatever the shit you just mentioned. I don't know what that stuff was, but clearly it wasn't good Whole Foods. And this big feeling of, like, oh man, I did it. And then all of a sudden put something in your body, makes you feel like shit. How is that treating yourself? That's self-loathing behavior patterns, and people just don't get it.
You don't just, let's keep going with this, Johnny. So where I battle with, actually, and I can guarantee there's people listening right now that battle this as well, is we go enjoy a nice meal, and then so I have the dessert palate comes out in the mouth. Hey, John, Marty, it's like, oh, I need to put a little bit of sweetness in the mouth. So then you think about, okay, so what can I go and satisfy my sweetness or something like that? But I will walk through this thought process in my head, John and Marty, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and have that, I don't know, that ice cream. Let's just say ice cream, right? Okay, so I'm going to crush that in like 2 minutes. And then by the 4th minute, I'm going to be Exactly, Marty. I'm going to be beating myself up in the head. I'm going to be regretting it. I'm going to be like, yeah, but I want more ice cream. And then you say, but you can't have unlimited ice cream. So then I just ultimately don't even have it to start with, Johnny, because I just know that I'm going to beat myself up in my head. You know what I mean?
100%. And what I'm a big connoisseur of is when I'm at that crossroad, God, that really looks good. You're at a dinner and somebody gets some dessert that just looks like off the chain, like, holy shit, I've never had that before. I want to bite. And then I remind myself, okay, it's just a few minutes of pleasure.
Yes.
And then hours of not feeling well, whether it be mentally, emotional, or even physically. Like sugar affects people negatively, but they just don't know it because they're constantly ingesting sugar all the time.
Oh, I thought we were talking about sex there, John. It's a couple old men with a few seconds of pleasure.
Well, not if you've been doing it right. That should be when you're coming up, when you're learning how to do it. That's the 3 pump down. By the time you get to be an old sucker, if you don't have it down, you got a problem.
Is that every pun intended, coming up instead of coming out? Is that what that was all about? Or?
I was putting it in every way I could, baby.
Good morning, Mick Swagger. Yes, you're right. Refined sugar is a drug, and it makes its way into everything. And we were chatting yesterday about carbohydrates, and you walk by food, and we just inhale carbohydrates. And guys, I want to talk a few minutes this morning about the chat we had yesterday with Jared Gleaton. Jared Gleaton's a beast, dude. Jared, if you're tuning in this morning, thanks for coming by yesterday. The guy drops 176 pounds on his weight loss journey. But as I went through my day yesterday, Marty and John, I talked to a number of people that tuned into the show yesterday, and were really excited about the conversation that we had and the different ways to achieve the end goal.
Yeah.
Right. And this confusion over weight loss, body composition, being muscular, being skinny fat. Again, all these ways to get there. And we don't want to piss on any of them. But what I know, John, and Marty, especially in your guys' industry, is people still don't understand. There's still a lack of connection, right?
100%.
Which is right. So I want to talk a little bit about that today. I want to talk about the power of macronutrients, right? And what that means. Because guys, as I went through the day yesterday, John, I was able to relate to what a lot of Jared's story was. Marty, John, I was a yo-yo guy, lost weight, and it wasn't until I discovered AJ and discovered the focus fitness, the athletic lifestyle, the business athlete, and learning about macronutrients. John, I know you subscribe to this. Macronutrients changed my life.
Well, so remember, there's the calorie, which tells us nothing. There's the macro, which just divides up. Is it protein, fat, or carbohydrate? Then the micro, this is what is the body's currency. So for basically, first off, I want to throw it to Jared, man. He basically counted calories and suffered for a year. That's huge balls. I mean, not most people can't suffer for a year like that.
Yeah.
Most people forget the year. Most people can't suffer through 150 plus pounds. So what we're just here to share with you guys is, hey, you don't have to do that 35-year-old, outdated methodology. We can teach you how to eat in a way that's going to give you more energy. You're out better health. You're going to sleep better, and you're going to drop body fat as you build muscle, which is going to give you basically a more abundant life in all areas of your life, mentally, physically, emotionally, which is going to translate into your relationships, your business, your physical fitness. So if you're starving yourself, just remember, you don't have to. There's a better way.
Yes. I want to add something there too. It also depends on the goal, right? So, I've had people say, well, I just want to be skinny. I don't care about muscles. And it's like, okay, that's fine if that's your goal. But understand that if you just are skinny, number one, you're probably not going to develop great habits, right? You're not going to develop longevity, and you're not going to do the things to build a sustainable lifestyle, right? And I feel like that's what me and John are teaching.
Yes.
And I feel like the same applies anywhere else. So like, let's say somebody asks Keith or John for business advice because they want to be successful. And it's like, I just want to get rich quick. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But it's going to bite you in the ass later. You know what I mean? So I think people got to understand that the close goal or the short-term goal might be sexy, but the sexy thing might not be what's best for the human body or what's best for the business goal in that case.
Well, you know what, brother? I love this because here's the thing. People that come and say, I want to lose weight, what they don't understand is they're going to lose that 30 pounds and they're going to look worse. They're going to feel worse because they picked a methodology that's really not conducive to what they want. They just don't know it.
Yes, yes, yes. Marty, what a great analogy you use, though, because you're right. It's like, you know, you can put a scam in place or do some kind of business where you can make as much money as possible, but it's probably not sustainable. It's probably doesn't have any longevity linked into it. There's probably nothing structurally sound about it. And again, very similar to losing weight. But gents, I want to just relay my personal journey as I was listening to Jared yesterday and kind of reflecting upon it yesterday. And I was talking about this with producer Christina yesterday after the show. And by the way, good morning, producer Christina. Boy, she's off taking the kids to school today. First day back to school for a lot of parents in North America today. So Christina and the family, congratulations on the first day back. I know your morning loop has restarted, and I've been there. My kids are getting back to school this week. And hey, Johnny, you got 3. Ernie, are they all done, or what's going on in your world with school this week?
I got basically my youngest is a junior
in
college. So yeah, she was actually home briefly yesterday, which was so good to see.
Oh, fun. That's really cool. That's really cool. But I was telling my journey about weight loss, guys, and I would often use wrong terms as I want to lose weight, when in reality for me, I really wanted to be jacked and I really wanted to be aesthetically pleasing. But boys, I was embarrassed. I would be embarrassed to go to my trainer and say, I want to have a 6-pack. For the longest time, AJ was like, yeah, but I thought you wanted to be strong. I'm like, well, no, I want to be strong, but I want to have a 6-pack. He goes, oh, there's a big difference. If you want to be a power lifter, you're probably going to eat differently. You're probably going to look differently. You're probably going to have a different body composition compared to somebody who might be on stage or who's competing like yourself, John Anderson. I know you've been bodybuilding and wrestling, but your body looked different when you were competing for bodybuilding than when you were wrestling or doing strongman competitions, John. So the food makeup for your body is very different. And again, people sometimes just don't understand that whole thing, don't they, John?
100%. But what people tend to, I mean, it is so, the old saying, you are what you eat is more true than people ever understand. If you're eating steak all the time, you're going to look like a steak, man. You're going to be jacked. If you're eating Cheetos, you're going to look like a Cheeto. It's just a matter of time. Just keep whatever you put in your mouth. Just remember, that's what you're going to look like.
Yes. Hey, Mornings in the Lab with Keith Bilous, John Anderson, and C. Marty Fit joining you guys here at the 50-minute mark after the hour. We're going to jump in with the accountability check-in in about 2-3 minutes here, Jimmy. Since we're talking foods, let's just, I want to throw something quickly on the table here. John, I know you're a massive fan of one-ingredient foods, and you do great, teachings around that. And Marty, you talk about that as well. Let's quickly get into some foods that the top 10 foods that help you stay fuller longer. Eggs. John, why are you a big proponent of eggs, and why do you stay away from whey protein?
Well, first off, anything processed, I'm going to stay away from. And then that's whey protein. And then whey protein is very, very low quality. So I'll make a quick example. A complete protein is 22 branch amino acids all in that food. So let's just pretend I'm a Martian and I got 11 fingers on each hand.
Yes.
Well, a whole egg is bam, it's all fingers up. A whey protein, you're pulling away all but like 4 of these things and they're distorted. So the body looks at 4 fingers and goes, this is not really what I want. It looks at 22 and goes, yes, that's exactly what I want. So when you process food, you are destroying fingers, if you will.
Gotcha. So then let's give Business Athlete Nation some tips this morning, and I want you to nod in agreement or nod in disagreement. 10 foods that help you stay fuller longer. John, number 1 on the list is eggs. And again, you look into your fridge, you got an egg. It's full of nutrients, right? It's packed with protein, essential amino acids, making them the excellent choice for satiety. Johnny, Marty, popcorn. Is popcorn on your menu?
Come on, man. I just did an episode on the top 10 unhealthiest snacks if you want to lose belly fat.
Yes,
popcorn's definitely on there.
I saw that list. Which is why I pulled this up here. So some would argue that it's high in fiber and low in calories, which makes popcorn a surprisingly filling snack. So, gents, dispel the myths and comments around popcorn. John Anderson, you two first.
Oh, God. I mean, popcorn, I don't even know who made this some sort of a good choice. This probably goes back to the fact that, it doesn't feel like you've eaten anything. Because if you look at the people around the world that are, excuse my language, that are fat, they're always looking for something that they can, I can eat a lot of this and it's okay. They're always trying to, what can I eat a lot of? That's what they're looking for. And that's, when I'm coaching people and they're coming from the overweight side, I remind them right from the jump, listen, have a little bit of condiment with your food, not a little food with your condiment, because they're saying, well, how much of this sauce can I have?
Yes.
Oh, let's flip this around. We're not just trying to abuse the system. We're trying to allow the system to help you enjoy your food. And I think it's just a complete backwards way of thinking when it comes to popcorn, much like abusing condiments.
Yes, this is why I wanted to have the conversation today, because you guys are the experts. You guys are talking to your clients every single day about these topics. And Jared's conversation was exceptional yesterday. People tune into this show to get themselves moving, to get the day started, to help activate the loop. Good morning, Jack Dugan. Glad to have you here in the lab. I know you tuned in last week. You're like, hey, what's this show? This show is a show that helps you stay positive, gives you nuggets to keep your day going. And right now we're talking about top 10 foods that may or may not keep you full. And we both know the principles of where John and Marty come from. So we're going to keep going down this list quickly before we get to the accountability check-in. Oatmeal. Listen, we know oatmeal is loaded with soluble fiber. It's a fuel for a lot of athletes. John, oatmeal.
Oatmeal. Well, I guess the main thing with oatmeal that you got to remember is that some people digest it exceptionally well and some people don't. So
yes.
This is when it comes down to understanding what your body responds well to and what it doesn't. You know, if you're using a carbohydrate, the key is to find something that is very, very, I call it low friction on the digestion. And if you eat oatmeal and you feel like you don't get hungry for a long time or you feel bloated, it's not working. So I think when it comes to oatmeal, the simple thing is to figure out if it works for you.
Marty, opinion oatmeal.
Oh yeah, I think oatmeal is great, but like Johnny said, if it works for you, do it. If not, don't do it. And remember too, for my weight loss people, you know, it's still a carb. Them things, it gets high in calories, so be careful. You know, you can stack up some calories on oatmeal, so just be mindful of that.
There you go.
Oatmeal is great.
And so here's the good thing. Here's the good reason we're having this conversation, guys, because good times, like I always thought popcorn was okay. Guys, there's a lot of humans that think popcorn's okay because it's air, it's meaningless, it's not gonna, it's not gonna make me fat, it's not gonna do anything for you. But that's not really the point, is it, John and Marty? Because it's about teaching people when they make choices what to put in their body, right? It's not so much not thinking it was good for you. It's suggesting that maybe there's a different choice. Maybe not the popcorn, maybe go have some fruit.
Well, in the thing about the idea of a popcorn-ish food, it promotes a behavior pattern we want to get away from, which is just to mindlessly feed ourselves.
Yes.
You know, like I'm a perfect example. You put me in front of a television show, which I don't watch anymore. I'm always learning. If I'm watching TV, I'm watching some sort of a podcast or, someone that's inspirational. But you put me in front of a sitcom. Oh my God. I just want to do this. I just want to keep putting something about it's, I don't know what it is, but the bottom line is everybody has their own trigger. But the idea of constantly mindlessly putting something in your mouth is a behavior pattern that needs to be broken.
Yeah, very, very true. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, John, and Marty. Your Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends here. We're just kind of kicking into 10 foods that may or may not keep you full. And again, a lot of ways to get across the river. And here in the lab, we're sharing some of our points of view. But listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the accountability check-in. I know John's got to go do some business. So John, you go do your accountability check-in. I'm going to talk to the audience here for a quick minute. Marty's going to do a stretch. And we're going to come back and keep this conversation happening around foods that may or not make you full, keep you full. Again, a lot of different ways to skin the cat. Jared Gleaton yesterday came in and told us how he lost 176 pounds of body weight. We're talking about body weight, body composition, foods, macro, micronutrients, and so forth. And then coming up at the bottom of the hour, Adam House is coming in to talk to us about the art of vulnerability, opening up to your authentic self, talking about trust, talking about process and trusting this, trusting that. So let's break for accountability check-in. John, you go do your business. Marty, go do your stretch. And we're going to come back and keep this conversation going, guys. So let's do this here. Let's go this, Jimmy, do this here. All right. Boom. Boom. Food is about choices, everybody. Make those right choices as you're going throughout your day. All right. Accountability check-in every single day around this time. Something to get you guys going, get you guys thinking about moving your day forward. Here's where it's at this morning. There's a fraud in your house. I see you. I see you tuning into me right now live on this show. There's a fraud. Look at yourself. Look in the mirror. That fraud is you. No matter how hard you try to hide it, people are going to find you out. They're going to find you out one of these days. And you know what? I know what it's like to be fake. Like, you're never going to be enough. looking in the mirror thinking that you're just this fake thing. But are these feelings you have, are they truth? Or are you being duped? Are you being duped into feeling like that imposter? Because imposter syndrome, I know you are listening right now asking yourself whether you're worthy of yourself. That imposter syndrome, it's a liar. It tells you your success is a fluke, that you don't deserve the achievements, that if people knew how incompetent you were, they wouldn't praise you at all. Do you think that's the truth? Do you think there's any logic in that? I know. You're doing fine. You're doing absolutely fine. You know how I know this? You're the hardest worker in the room. You deserve those pats on your back. Pause, pat yourself on the back. We take so much time to pat everybody else in the back. Pat yourself on the back because you're doing your best. Next time doubt creeps in, remember, the real fraud in your inner voice is telling you that you're not enough. You are. Get up, get moving, tackle the day, tackle this new morning loop, achieve those goals, and look at that fraud you think is in the mirror in your own house and say, fuck, you're not a fraud. Be proud of yourself. It's your accountability check-in. Mornings in the lab. We drop it every single day around the 15-minute mark here. The only morning show that helps you guys get your ass out of bed and get you moving. That's right, good time. I thank you, man. Hit the like. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. We're building a show to help you guys move. Best way we can do that is with your support. So I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, like it, share it with friends. Tell everybody about the show. What's going on, Lavish? We are live. Good time. I appreciate you. I appreciate your good time. You are an awesome fan of the show. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to keep our conversation rolling here. Johnny, you feel better?
I'm good, brother. That was
awesome.
it.
Awesome. All right, let's keep going here. Top 10 foods that'll make you full. I know this one. Marty is a big fan of this one, Johnny. And I'm going to suspect, Johnny, you are too. Maybe you're not. I don't know. Fish. Fish is high quality protein. Salmon, mackerel. Don't be leaning into the cheap white fish. Johnny, give me your thoughts on fish and salmon and just good old high quality seafood.
Well, I think the thing that people need to understand now is that much of the fish that we buy in stores, especially salmon, is now farmed.
Yes.
And here's the thing. Excuse me. I'll just be
blunt, man. Be blunt.
I'll be blunt. Yes. In these pools where these salmon are being raised, they're feeding them feces.
Yep.
They literally throw shit in these pools. I mean, granted, they feed them pellets and other stuff too, but the bottom line is they're feeding these farmed salmon and other fish like it's the stuff that you don't want to eat. And if the fish is eating that and you're eating the fish, indirectly, that's what you're getting. And you can literally, so when you're buying salmon, make sure it's wild caught salmon. That's the phrase you're looking for.
Why is it so hard for us as human beings to recognize the fact that we are what we eat? That if you're eating the fish that ate the shit and you're putting the fish in your body, if I'm thinking in the idea of the loop, John and Marty, okay, the loop connects to that part, I guess I'm eating the shit that went into the salmon that went into my body. Yeah, true story, nation.
Well, I mean, right? if you think about all the processed foods we eat, I mean, the chemicals that we're eating affect our bodies even worse than the shit that the salmon are eating. You know, yeah. It goes right back to the fact that most people don't know that the major food companies are owned by the tobacco companies. Well, goodness gracious, let's do a little math on that one.
There we go. Let's dig into some lean meats such as beef. All right, so salmon and beef team, top 10 foods that'll keep you full.
I'm sorry, Keith. I want to add one thing to that.
Yeah.
And I don't want John to go on the tangent, but I do. So so some of these wild caught fish, the farm raised fish, I'm sorry, it can be, they're very unhealthy. You just stated some facts about it. But I've had clients say, well, I might as well just go to Popeyes because all the fish is bad. And I'm like, look, you're better off eating the feces caught fish than you are
Yes.
going to these other, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the feces fed fish than going to these other places. So I just wanted to add that in just in case anybody watching gets confused by what John said. It doesn't mean just go grab the Pizza Hut and the Five Guys anyway. That's not what John was saying.
It means read the label is what it means. It means read the damn label.
Exactly. It doesn't mean don't eat salmon at all. So my bad, Keith. I'm sorry. I had to add that in there.
No, but
that was good. That was real good.
Because we're here to teach. We're here to teach and enlighten and empower and educate and help folks achieve their big audacious goals here in the lab. And I'll be the outlier amongst us three here. Man, what a frustrating life I have to live. What you're telling me is, Marty, is I got to go to the store and make sure the food's not fed by shit. I can't drive through the parking lot and have Popeyes. John's telling me to have single ingredient foods. John's telling me I'm driving by the restaurant and carbs are getting into my body. Oh, I just want to go and crawl up in a corner. You see what I'm getting at, right? It's like there's always these obstacles in front of human beings to succeed.
Choose your shit. One shit is better than the other shit.
Well, you know what's crazy about this whole conversation? I was going to wait to the end. I'm going to wait to the end to uncork this, but I might as well do it now because we're in a little bit of a. So the whole idea: 10 foods that make you feel full, right? When you first said that, my first reaction was full, like keep your muscles full of nutrients. But you were actually talking about foods that satiate your stomach.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing. That's basically valuable to a calorie deficit type scenario because they're not eating enough. So they're looking for something that's going to make them feel full. Calorie deficit people are always on the hunt for something that's going to make them feel full longer because they know they're suffering through being hungry. Well, the flip side of that equation, when you learn to do this shit right, you will never be hungry and you will lose fat faster. So just keep that in mind, everyone.
Yeah.
It's rather than spending your time researching how to stay full longer, start researching or hire a coach or find whatever you want to do to learn the more effective methodology, which is also very sustainable.
What John is saying to Business Athlete Nation is you don't have to starve yourself to lose weight or to become lean, right? What we are taught is, eat less, when in reality is your muscles need food. And in reality is we need to eat a lot of food. And I would argue, John, that that's often the biggest challenge. And Marty, you too can talk to clients, I'm sure. What do you need? I got to eat again? Hold on. You want me to eat again? Well, I just ate an hour ago. What do you mean I got to eat all that food? That I think is one of the biggest challenges for human beings is that you mean I need to eat that food one more time, John Anderson?
Well, and the thing about it is so many people, like when I have a client that uses 50 plus pounds and I show them what they're going to be eating, the first thing to say is, oh my God, I'm going to get so fat if I eat all that.
Yeah. Yes.
Say, look, no, you're not. The difference is I'm having you eat a lot more, but this food is going to affect your body very differently. Most people are looking at volume. They're not looking at how the actual food will have their body react. And that's it's just, go ahead, Marty.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, like, I've had clients like, well, I've never lost weight, increasing my protein intake. That's why you always gain the weight back. You've never lost the weight and kept it off. So maybe let's try increasing our protein intake, It's
learning to trust the process, Marty, right? It's learning to listen to you and listen to John because Nation, I've been there. So I'm the business guy out of the group of these guys. John's a fitness dude. Marty's a fitness dude. Nation, I've been you before. I've sat down with John and Marty and they're like, okay, Keith, you need to eat all this food. And I'm going, holy Christ, man, I'm going to get fat because I was a scared guy being fat before, right? So I'm like, I don't want to get fat. And but then John's sitting down saying, no, but Keith, but trust the process. And Marty is saying, Keith, if you eat this food and do the work I'm going to give you, you're not going to get fat. The hardest thing to do, Business Athlete Nation, is to trust the process. But when you do, and enjoy the process, that's when the magic kicks in. But guys, we got some great conversations and comments coming in from the feature. I want to lean in here. So good time. Is there a time in the day, John, Marty, that you cut back on water intake before bed? Or am I old and I just have to get up in the middle of the night or go to the bathroom? Marty.
Yes. Yeah, John, let me get this one first, man.
Yeah, get it, baby, get it.
Because I know you about to tear it apart. So Me, if I have to finish my water before bed, that's my punishment for the day. I'm gonna have to get up in the middle of the night and pee because I should have been on top of it during the day.
Oh,
But yeah, I'm gonna get my water intake in. But that's just my thing. So it's
so
not necessarily.
you say to yourself, I got to get my water done before a certain time. If you're drinking water at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night and you're pissing in the middle of the night, you're like, oh man, I didn't do a good job getting it in earlier.
Yeah, I was bullshitting today. So yeah.
Smart. Johnny, comments on water.
I come at this from the solution standpoint. So basically, the idea would be to make sure that doesn't happen anymore. So what you do, here's the methodology. You take your allotment, you divide it by 4. It's called the 4-bottle system. So let's just say that it works out that you're going to drink 4 liters of water for the day. Well, when you wake up, that first bottle represents the first 4 hours of your day. Bottle number 2 represents the second 4, basically hours 5 through 8. So each bottle, you have another 4 block to finish. So if you do start to run behind, you catch it early in the day and you don't find yourself in the position that we're talking about where you got to slam your water down or whatever it is. And the thing about hydration is not just getting your water in, it's getting your water in an even format that actually helps the body. You suck a bunch of water in too quick, all it does, it does a reverse effect. Your body goes, holy shit, look at all this water coming out. I better get rid of it. And you end up dehydrating yourself.
Yeah. Nuggets this morning dropping in the lab with John Anderson and C. Marty Fit here. Mornings in the lab. Hey, CP Mark, what's the stream about? This stream is a morning show. We start 8 o'clock Eastern time, Monday to Friday here. It's a show that talks about helping you guys achieve your biggest, most audacious goals. We talk business, we talk fitness, we talk entrepreneurship, we talk accountability, all wrapped in helping us achieve our biggest goals and helping you guys avoid the snooze button and helping you get through the loop. We've canceled the day. We've canceled the month. We've canceled the hour. We live a lifestyle of the loop. We program it. We go to sleep. We get up and we continue it every single day. Johnny, Marty, another question for you guys. This is great, man. I'm a vegetarian and it's hard to complete my protein needs. How do you talk to vegetarians, John and Marty, that are struggling with not having meat, not having salmon, and want to get those amino acids into their body?
My first question is always, if you have some sort of guideline or restriction in terms of like being a vegetarian or vegan, what is the purpose? If there's some sort of a spiritual thing, okay, I get it. But if you're doing this because you think it's going to help you make progress with your mind, body, and your soul in terms of progression with fitness, I'm going to say you're going down the wrong road because you're taking a lot away from the body that the body needs to be happy, healthy, and functioning the way it was designed. But if you're doing it for religious reasons, then knock yourself out. Then you're going to have trouble. There's no question you're going to have trouble getting that protein in. If you do meet the macro numbers, are going to be fine, but the micro is going to be way off. It's very difficult to get what you need through plants.
Great conversation, team. Great conversation. Marty, keep going, brother.
I can't let this one slide. All right. So you got to look at protein. What does that do for us? That builds muscle, and muscle is basically our organ for longevity, right? If you're not consuming the meat, the chicken, the steak, the fish, this might be a little controversial. You aren't going to get another sufficient protein source outside of those. Right? Chickpeas and black beans don't hold the same amino acids and the same protein content as chicken, steak, and fish. So you're already doing yourself a disservice because most people are under muscled and they don't get enough protein intake. Right? So if you are going to, switch to vegan, I say it better be a doctor recommendation or religious purposes, like John said. And I've seen so many people go vegan and then switch back to eating meat. Because they think the meat was the issue. But if you're going to blame steak and chicken, why not look at the sugar content you're taking in? Why not look at all the alcohol you're taking in, all the fried foods?
I don't want to get rid of my sugar.
Exactly.
And let me just put a little comic relief in here. If we took 100 vegans, or vegetarians, and we put them on a line, 85 of them are pissed that they're mad as hell. And they don't even know why. And the other 15%, they're cheating. They're not following the guidelines. They're having some meat when nobody's looking.
Oh man, great conversation happening right now. Good morning, Ange. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Ange jumping in saying that is true, Marty. Sadly, shit-eating salmon is better than a majority of the American diet. So true. That is absolutely true. Good to see her, Ange. I'm always happy when you join us here in the lab, mornings in the lab here. 8 o'clock Eastern time. We got Adam House hanging out in the green room, patiently waiting for us, boys. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get the fit tip on the stage. Marty's going to get some, tell us what's going on in the fitness world. And then we're going to talk to Adam about vulnerability and trust and process and so forth. Then we're going to come back and dig into Johnny's lifestyle tip and keep the conversation going here. So guys, let's do this. Let's go to the, let's go to this here.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right. We got the fitness tip for today. So maintaining strong bones is important for everyone, not just women. As men age, they are also at risk for bone density loss, which can lead to fractures and osteoporosis. Build muscle. That's what we've been talking about the whole episode. All right. Here's how men can build and maintain bone density. Number one, lift weights. Me, John, and Keith talk about it all the time. We lift 4 or 5 times a week, 6 times, probably John Anderson. Incorporate resistance training into your routine at least 2 to 3 times a week. I think it should be more, but if you're beginning, that's a good start. Exercises like deadlift, squats, bench press, any other compound movements put stress on your bones, and they encourage bone growth and increase your strength. Number 2, do high impact activities, right? Use your athleticism. A lot of us fellas, we were athletes back in the day. Tap into that. Not saying you got to go play in a men's league, but do some athletic things that put pressure on your bones. Run, jump, basketball. Some of y'all, not everybody. Do some athletic stuff, man. It's going to stimulate the bone building cells and help maintain bone density. Focus on nutrient-rich single ingredient foods. That's what we've been talking about the whole episode. Your diet is the key to strong bones. Focus on foods rich in calcium and magnesium. Calcium-rich foods, leafy greens, kale, spinach, almonds, sesame seeds. Magnesium-rich foods, pumpkin seeds, nuts, and avocados. Try to focus on these foods before you go to the store and get some magnesium pills or some calcium pills, right? Try to get them from your food, right? That's what our body needs. That's what our body requires. And lastly, stay consistent. Regular exercise and a nutrient-rich diet are the foundation for your bone health. Make these practices part of your daily routine to see long-term benefits. Longevity. Think of when you make a decision that with your fitness or your health, right, or your nutrition. Think longevity. So taking care of your bone health now will help you stay strong and active for years to come. That's the fitness tip for today.
Hey, we see Marty Fitz, the basketball expert here on the show. We had Adam laughing there behind the scenes. What's going on, Mr. House?
How's it going? Good morning, guys.
We're exceptional.
What's up, Adam?
Adam joining us here, experienced entrepreneur, 27 years in business. We're here to kick off the House of Brick segment with Adam House here today. He was here last week joining us for a weekly segment. We are going to get into the Adam's Brick of the Week. And Adam, you've been tuning into our conversation so far around foods. Are you a vegetarian, you a meat guy, or what do you lean into, Adam, when it comes to eating food?
So I've pretty much tried everything. And when we lived in South Florida, early 2000s, so the vegan movement was really early on there. And if my wife is listening, she'll probably find a way to chime in and go get the vegan talk going. But look, I mean, there's no way to reasonably sustain muscle growth without animal products. I mean, it's just how it is. So
thank you, brother. I knew you were going to come to the rescue of this conversation.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Yeah, don't come in here shooting bricks.
Yeah, here we go. So if you're a vegan out there, you want chicken so bad, you're eating fake chicken made in a lab, right? Like, what's healthy about that? It's called unchicken. Like, if you don't want chicken, just then eat your vegetables. Like, leave us alone. So
Beyond meat.
The number one thing you can cut out is sugar and processed foods. Like, why do you think the tobacco companies bought food companies so they could poison you with more chemicals, get you addicted to all their processed foods? So all of your packaged crap and your sugar and your alcohol. I'd rather have a bourbon and a steak than a fake piece of chicken. So We're just getting
Brother, I love the fact that you brought that up because so few people know that the major food companies are owned and run by the tobacco companies. They just don't have their names on the front of them. They kept, I think it's Nabisco, Kraft. They're still operate with the same name, but they're not calling the shots. I guess you call 100%, just like a cigarette. A damn Triscuit has got a bunch of crap in there, just like a cigarette. Different shit, but it's crazy.
Yeah. And I heard you guys talking about water. So hopefully Gary V's watching this. I am a liquid death addict. So
yes,
if you like water, even I spend $100 a week on water, but I just have it by my desk. I'm drinking out of a can. It feels good. No plastic bottles. So
boom, baby, boom.
I know,
you, baby.
But I'm just on Zoom so much. I mean, maybe if I put a water filling station in here, but I like the can feel, pop it up, feel good. So
there you go. And Adam, good morning, Adam. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Adam's jumping in with a double Whopper cheeseburger burger, please. Yes, Adam, go have that burger all you want. Just keep the sugar out of it. There you go here.
Well, I don't know about what you, hold on. That was just like your basketball comment. Okay.
Wait.
Whoppers are full of crap and they put sauce on it. You can't eat the bread either, Keith. Okay.
John, Keith just wants the Whopper, John.
Wait, no, I don't want the Whopper. I don't need Burger King. Adam wants the Whopper. We want to encourage Business Athlete Nation to, hey, they're wondering what the hell can they eat? They're like, I can't have a Whopper.
There's nothing wrong with a good, juicy hamburger. Just don't buy it from a chemical plant.
Yes, exactly.
You can make you can take Whole Foods and you can make the most amazing hamburger. It's very different. People think hamburger fast food. No, it's because the majority of hamburgers are fast food. Doesn't mean that if you go to a nice restaurant that's going to have good food, nothing wrong with ordering a hamburger, nothing wrong with getting some sweet potato, non-deep fried fries because it's good, real whole food, single ingredient food. Just don't be buying this shit from McDonald's.
But hamburgers confuse us. Hamburgers confuse everybody because they're good, they're bad. But what we have to learn is learning to trust the process.
Ooh.
Hamburgers. Because it's easy to get caught up in the idea that a hamburger is healthy and safe. But if it's a single ingredient hamburger, some spices and some onions, go and have as much hamburger as you want. Mm-hmm. But yesterday, Adam House, how about a segue, hey boys? Yesterday, Adam House dropped an awesome post in LinkedIn. And he titled it, guys, Process. Are you on the right path? And no, Adam, not to Burger King and not to McDonald's. But are you on the right path with trust? Because it's easy to get caught up in the idea that struggle means progress, that without the right strategy, you could be heading in the wrong direction. Adam breaks down this simple acronym about helping you evaluate whether you're on the right track. So entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders right now listening to our show, somebody who's in the gym, somebody who's leaning into working with John or Marty with a fitness trainer, what's the process? Is it?
Well, yeah. And listen, so it's one of the actually most misused terms I've heard, and probably probably since Kobe passed away, right? Everyone's like, oh, trust the process. It's all about the journey. Well, if you're running as hard as you can towards California, but you want to get to Florida, you're never going to get there, right? And so you're grinding, you're struggling, and you're in the process. Well, that process sucks, and it's not going to lead to any result. So it starts with the destination and what is the map and who is the author of the map. And that is the person that you are following. So like we were just talking about diet, nutrition, business leadership, whatever. And I've seen leaders misuse it a lot now to kind of flip it back on you when you're not happy with how things are going. Say, oh, well, hey, just trust the process. So then you're like, well, I guess it's my fault that I'm not happy here, And so, man, I hope my wife isn't listening to this show. But anyway, when you
how long you been married now? She's like, just trust the process, Adam. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go somewhere with this. So like it is kind of like a form of gaslighting, so to speak. And I very rarely make psychological, emotional health type analysis, because everyone on social media now is like a psychiatrist, you know, and then they send you one reel on gaslighting, and then all of a sudden you're getting 50 reels on them. Not that she sent me one that I gaslight her, but you get the point. So anyway, we all become like, you know, emotional experts because of social media. My point is that they flip it back on you like it's you. And so the 3 Ps are really starting with the person. Do you trust the person? Can they take you to where you want to go? Have they done what they're asking you to do? And then it's person, process, and then you worry about the product. Like, products come and go in business. Some succeed, some don't. But if you have the right person leading you, you have the right process, then the product will take care of itself.
Yeah, Adam, let's build off that, and let's talk about let's talk about some other issues around trust in entrepreneurship and business building. Because when we think about trust, is there not 4 trust traps that many are at risk of? So let's think about them. One, which is, first of all, 1, trust everyone, that blind optimist, Adam. Number 2, trust anyone, the lone wolf. I'm just going to trust anyone out there. Number 3, which is that whole idea of the self-doubter. Don't trust themselves. And then number 4, Adam, which is this whole idea of, well, then don't trust the process, the impatient hustler. Let's get into those. But first of all, Adam, John, Marty, which one of those trust traps speaks most to you guys independently, and why? So, Johnny, are you a trust everyone kind of person? You a trust anyone, trust everyone, trust themselves, or not trusting the process? Where do you line in this one, Johnny?
I'm a big one on my circle's pretty small. For someone to get inside my circle, you know, and there's personal circle, there's business circle, they got to earn their way in there.
Yes.
And it's when it comes down to it, I'm only going to follow someone or take their advice if they are where I'm striving to be, or they have been there and they're good at teaching someone to get there. Because there are people that are great at getting there themselves, but they suck at helping other people. And then there are people that are really good at helping other people get to that destination. So I'll listen to what anybody has to say if they've made some progress, but doesn't mean that I'm going to trust what they have to say unless the boxes that I'm looking for are checked.
Well said. Well said. Adam, what about you, man? Where do you fall into this chasm? Are you a trust everyone, trust anyone, trust themselves, or don't trust the process? Where do you fall?
I think there's layers to it. Like John just said, I mean, that's perfect. Like, I'm not a guy that needs 50 friends, right? I've got 3 or 4 guys that are in my circle that I trust. And the criteria is what John just said. They've either done it themselves, which is the first check in the box. And do I want to get to where they want to go? Or are they trying to get to where I want to go? Are they climbing the mountain with me? So are they a mentor? Like, hey, this guy's done it with me, or, you know, is where I want to go? Or is it someone trying to get to where I'm going? Like, you know, all of us here, we're building something great together. This is my favorite show that I'm on every week. Love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And then also mentoring others. Do I trust that this person wants to get to where I am? So as someone that has accomplished things and people reach out to me, I have to trust that they're going to put in the work to get to where they want to go. So that's kind of the circle piece of how I evaluate it. And they don't have to have gone where I want to go. Like I said, you know, Bill Belichick wasn't the best football player ever, but he's one of the greatest coaches ever. Yes. So he's led other people, right? So they've either done it themselves or led other people. Is someone that, you know, I'm going to put my trust in to take me to the next level. But I do trust people. And I certainly don't like, you know, people that don't trust first, but there's just different levels of it. Like, don't be a pessimist. You'll never get anywhere. Believe the best in people, but have the self-awareness to say, hey, they're just not ready. And you don't have to burn the bridge. It's like, hey, man, we can't work together right now. Here's some free resources. Go do this, and then come back to me, and we'll see what progress you made.
Yes. You're hanging out with Adam House here, CEO of House of Bricks, one of the greatest online communities to help you entrepreneurs move the needle, help yourselves get to the next stage in business. I invite you guys to check out Adam over on LinkedIn. We're talking right now about trust. Marty, what about yourself, my friend? Are you a guy who trusts everyone, don't trust anyone, don't trust yourselves, or don't trust the process? Marty, as a young athlete making your way from athletics into business, where does trust fall in your role? See Marty Fit.
I'm a don't trust anybody guy. I'm the type of person I got to put myself in a situation where I don't have to depend on someone, And then if I, like Keith, when you reached out to me about this show, I had to do some extensive research before I say yes, because in 2024, people lie on the internet. Sometimes they manipulate you. They want to get something from you, and they're just not upfront and truthful. So you got to be careful who you trust. And I'm the same as Adam, where I got a couple of close friends that I can trust, with my kids when I have them. I can trust them around my girlfriend when I have one. But a lot of people out here are just not real. So I really don't trust a lot of people. Yeah. So the fact that I'm on here with you guys every week says a lot.
Well, on that level, when you're introduced someone, you're meeting someone, you're talking to someone for the first time, starting off with a neutral stance, and they're going to place themselves where they're either going to act and behave in a way that's going to bring themselves closer, or they're going to act and behave in a way that's going to create some distance. And they'll do that to themselves. You just have to be, start off with the idea that, hey, we don't know. And that person is, over time, that person is going to dictate where they are in your life or in your business.
Yes. We're hanging out with Adam House, C. Marty Fit, Keith Bilous, and John Anderson. Mornings in the lab here. We drop 8 o'clock Eastern time every single day on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. Jimmy, we're gonna move the lifestyle tip to the top of the hour when we're done this conversation, and then we'll come back with the creator spotlight around the 50-minute mark of the hour there, Johnny. We got some great comments coming in. Konetsky with Shake and Ken jumping in on the horizontal stream saying, trust but verify anyone. Absolutely. Verify everyone. That is so true. And Ange is obviously coming back with grow your own food. Yes, Ange, you got to grow your own food. That's what we got to do here. And then we got some comments here on the vertical feed here. Marty, John Barnes, it shouldn't exist if a person has the power or a chance to change it. And Joseph Hernandez is coming in with truth around our conversation. So Adam, how do we learn to trust the process? I love the article yesterday, and you gave us some things to think about. But as you're sitting down and talking to a young entrepreneur who's getting themselves started, and they're, you've heard John's response and Marty's response, and your experience. How do you teach an entrepreneur to trust the process, Adam House?
Well, we're going to go right back to the beginning. You got to trust the person. Okay. The process, anyone can put you through a process. And what is the criteria you're looking for in that person? It can be different, right? I mean, there's guys that are wildly more successful than me, but I look at the fruit of what they produce. Their marriage is a mess. Their kids don't like them. They're destroying themselves physically. So I always start with the best form of leadership is self-leadership. How do they lead their own life? And the outcomes will take care of themselves, right? If you have a dream and you make progress, you're going to achieve it. The story only stops when you stop writing. So if it's not where you want it to be, keep writing, keep climbing. But I always start with a person. So how do they lead themselves, and what is the fruit of what they've accomplished so far? And again, like every person, I assume, is well-intended, but there are times when they have an agenda that is for themselves outside of your development. And so looking at that person and their self-leadership, that is the first step. But I see it all the time. Trust the process. Trust the process. Well, if I don't trust the person, I don't want your process. you can keep it.
Johnny.
I love that, because, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And we see all the time, someone's got a really successful business, but it's at the cost of their marriage and their family. That's not a guy I want to learn from. I want to learn from a guy who's learned to be effective in all areas of his life. You don't have to just be good over here and suck over there. And so I love what Adam's saying, because when it comes down to it, for us to be leaders, we have to lead ourselves first. But the question for most people is, are you leading yourself in all areas of your life? Do you have a great marriage and a great business, but your health is poor? Or maybe your health is great and you don't have a business worth a damn. lead yourself in all areas of your life first. Then at that point, in my opinion, you're going to have something to share with the rest of the world.
Yeah, James Sykes tuning in this morning. Good morning, James. Thanks for tuning into the show here. What kind of coaching is this channel? This coaching is helping you get your ass out of bed, help you avoid the snooze button, and help you achieve those big, audacious goals in your life. So whether it's business, whether it's athletics, whether it's nutrition, whether it's mental health, we are helping you set the target, live the loop, and move your day forward. We're talking trust in business. Adam, we often go into business with folks, and we live in a world now where we spend less time shaking hands, Adam. We spend more time looking into the camera. We spend more time communicating with somebody across a Zoom. Is it possible to build trust, Marty, John, Adam, without the handshake in 2024 by doing this more often than not? I have my opinion on this, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about this when it comes to building trust through the lens of a camera and a microphone in the world that we live in today. Adam House.
Starting with me, I mean, it's a necessity. This is how we communicate at scale now. So we're able to talk to more people. And again, it's just putting different layers of relationships in your life. Like if we have, Keith, I'd love to get together and hang out with you in person, right? I don't say that to many people on Zoom. I'm actually happy with this, like Zoom, you schedule 30 minutes and it's over. You meet someone in person and it's not someone you want to be with. It could be an hour and a half. So this is an efficient way to kind of connect with people, but getting in person obviously changes with the frequency, exchange, just getting in, and hanging out and doing stuff together. But it is possible, takes more work, but helps you have more relationships at scale. I definitely have a lot less friends if I had to meet everybody in person because, I'm good.
I think the idea of, I think that's why Adam, John, Marty, the idea of the personal brand is more important than ever in 2024 because we live in such a digital world. The best way for me to get to know John and Marty and yourself, Adam, is to observe digitally, right? So that when I do engage with you in this means I can at least I have a framework for you are as a human. And that by the time I do get a chance to meet you in real life as a human, I have a foundation that I can either build upon or question, right? So Marty, your opinion on building trust through the camera?
Yeah, I think you can definitely build trust through the camera, but just treat it like you would look for, treat it like what you would look for in person. So if someone's consistent, they're showing up, they're keeping their word, they can do that virtually. So, that can be a great way to see if someone is, a great person to let into your circle or a great person to do business with. So I'm all for doing it virtually.
Yeah. Yep. And Johnny, I know a lot of your coaching business is virtual as well. And you've, again, same age dudes, right? So we've worked through the world of real life to camera, camera meetings constantly. In order to build trust in John Anderson's world, are you comfortable doing it this way as well? Or does it just take more time for you, John?
Well, I think what it does, it gives you a wider net, so to speak. You get to see more people. You get it because I'm big on how does someone live their life? How do they live their daily life? Because if they live every day in a certain regard, it translates into a life and a type of person that I'm going to want to be around or not, depending on how they live their life. So I guess you'd say that Zoom or the digital world gives us a wider net to observe a little more, so we can decide, okay, this person is like-minded. I can allow them to come in. And this person is not, and I'm going to keep them out there. So it's really comes down to it's a tool. How are we choosing to use it?
Yes. We got a question coming from the feeds here from Big John, Big Life. How much do you trust your gut when meeting someone? I love this conversation on trust, Adam, when you put it up there yesterday, because we hear it so often, right? I just trust the process. But really, how much do you trust your gut when meeting someone? Like, is it failing? Adam, are you a gut guy? Is intuition important for you?
It's everything. God gave you a sense for a reason. Yes. I grew up in Detroit, man. So you learn quick how to read people. This ain't Canada, bro. We're not sleeping with our doors.
He goes to bed with his door wide open.
Yeah, we ain't sleeping with it.
With Lauren last night, I'm like, what the hell? We don't live in the hood. Leave the doors open. It's exactly.
Anywhere. This ain't Canada.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't stop at red lights when I was a kid. You know, the traffic laws didn't apply. Like, if we were driving through Detroit, but Detroit's changed now. I mean, you got, executives riding around on scooters, but it's a 1 mile radius of safety. And then, so they've got little fences up to keep Detroit. Yeah, it's still Detroit. So, you have that street intuition. You learn it in business too. And again, it's a test, fail, learn, grow process. I mean, assume the best in people. Don't be a pessimist. You're not going to get anywhere in life. And it's not a set it and forget it decision, right? Like, read how it's going. How are they treating you? How are they leading themselves? Are you making progress? And it may not be as fast as you want it, but as long as you're trending in the right direction, do yourself the favor, because you can still learn from a bad process. And that's what we talk about at the House of Bricks, using every brick to build your foundation. I've learned the most from some of the bad experiences I've been in. So be a student of your situation, be mindful, and then learn how to use that later on down the road.
Yes. Sometimes it's easier, that intuition kicks. You're like, I got to watch this guy. Sometimes it's easier to learn what not to do when you see somebody doing something dumb. That's, of course, we're constantly wanting to learn. But how easy to go, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to do that. That's pretty easy, man. I'll tell you, I learned I'm very efficient. When I see something I don't want to do or don't want to be, that just clicks in my head. So it's that intuition just gives you a really, really good idea, at the start, what side of the fence you're looking at, but there's still something to learn.
Exceptional. 9 o'clock Eastern time, coming to the top of the hour. Our time is limited with Adam House. Adam, you get time for one quick question here before you go, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. I've got a couple minutes.
Awesome. We got Rick Clout joining us here. I'm not sure, Adam, if that comes from your circle, but Rick Clout joins us here with a question, which is self-leadership. Wow. Great topic that's not covered much. Trust is the foundation of all relationships. And Rick says, what's your number one way to build trust with those in your life and business? Again, might seem like an obvious cliche question, but Rick is really, emphasizing what's the number one way to build that trust with your life and your business. Marty, I'll start with you, man, from Rick.
I'd probably say the consistency, man. The number one way to build that, when you're consistent, when you develop a routine, when you've overcome obstacles, and you do that over time and over years, that's gonna build some trust.
And you watch that, right, Marty? And you see that person going through it all. You're gonna start, I guess, making those mind checks, aren't you, Marty? Okay, well, Bilous has done that. Bilous has done that. Oh, he failed there. He picked himself up and won again. Yeah. Okay, he did that. And that to you is building that trust record, isn't it?
And the same with clients too, because I even have clients. Sorry, clients, if anyone's watching. But I even have clients where it's like, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and I'm like, they're like, you don't believe me, and I'm like, what have you done to show me that? You haven't shown me any consistency. You haven't, not yet. I have faith in you. I believe you can do it. I'm trying to push you to that level, but it's the same applies. So.
Yes. Hey, Adam, question for you. How about when it comes to hires? That can cost you big money. It's tough to assume the best in someone when we're wanting to hire somebody. And I know you, like yourself, Adam, I've had to hire people like, okay, I gotta get somebody in the seat. You hire them, and then you cross your fingers and you hope it's the right hire. Let's talk about trust and hiring somebody and making the right decision along the way, Adam House.
That's the toughest thing to really do. It really is, to hire the right people. The only answer to that is to fire fast enough. So when you make the decision to hire someone, you can go through whatever process you want. Until they get in the saddle, you just don't know. You don't know who it is. You can run a process. You can do background checks. You can interview them, give them assessments. But the most important thing, second most important thing to hiring the right person is firing fast enough, because you have an investment in that decision. The second you feel that, we talked about intuition earlier on, there's a reason you're thinking that. And typically leaders, by the time they do fire someone, everyone else in the company was like, dude, why did it take you so long? We all wanted him out anyway. So I don't think I've ever let someone go or fired someone where a month later I was like, oh, I should have never fired that guy. We're always behind on that decision.
What a great segue, Adam. I've got a note here. That's a good parking lot discussion. We gotta follow up this discussion in a future session with you about firing fast. We don't talk about it often enough in business, do we, Adam? Which is we take so long to hire somebody, but man, the quickest thing you can do is make that decision, get rid of them quick, because that can kill the business if you don't make the decision quick. So that's a conversation we want to resume here in the lab. John, quick question before we walk Adam out of the house here. Oh, Adam out of the house here. John,
There you go.
Rick's question. What's your number one way, John Anderson, to build trust with those in your life and business? Your number one way, Johnny.
I think it has to do. I'm always looking at consistency. I'm looking at, I guess you put it like this. If you say you're going to do something, do you do it? Are you smart enough not to say that you're going to do it? Because when you strip it all away, a man's got his word. When he loses his word, becomes uncredible very quickly. So I'm looking for, are people doing what they said they're going to do? Or are they smart enough to say, I don't know, I'll figure it out, but I can't commit to doing that at this moment because I don't know how to do it at this moment. I'll take that over the person that says, yeah, I got it, and then they don't get it done.
That might be the best advice right now. Too often our confidence gets in the way and we say we can do it, when in reality, as an old man here, I know Johnny and I are the old guys here on the panel here. I want to hear from Adam the answer. I don't really know, Keith, actually, but let me find out for you. Oh, okay. Well, I'm all of a sudden really going to embrace Adam trusting, because he's actually telling me that he doesn't know the answer, instead of bullshitting me and telling me he does know the answer. What a great way to build trust, just by saying I don't know.
Yeah, and just my parting thought and mic drop moment. So again, Keith, no more basketball talk, right? Because you lost some trust there. Yes. You're still trying to gain it back. I'm 2 weeks in a row. I did put a basketball hoop over here. I think even you could dunk on. Okay, but so it's over here for this show specifically. But hey, I want to thank you guys for having me. This is, again, my favorite show. Love what you guys are doing. Anything I can do to help build this house, happy to do it.
I appreciate that, Adam. Adam House joins us every single week here on Tuesdays for the House of Brick segment. We're talking with Adam. You can join the show 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern time, Monday to Friday here on the show. Adam, have an awesome day, man. We'll look forward to hanging out with you next week, okay?
You got it. Thank you. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you, brother.
Take care, Adam.
Take care, Adam. Thank you.
All right, Adam House from the House of Bricks. Man, what a great conversation on trust, guys? It's just such a and the comments coming in from the comments over here. Taylor pops in and says, "Good morning, Taylor. I had to fire my first person a week ago for drinking on the job and no call, no shows. Oh man, that's a tough one." And then Joseph Hernandez pops in and says, "When the interview started, interviewing the company they applied for may be a great candidate." And James says something. Joe said, I did that too. So, all right. So we're top of the hour here, 10 minutes after the hour here. We're running a number of minutes behind. Johnny, shall we do lifestyle tip?
Let's rock, baby.
Let's do it. So we're going to do lifestyle tip. We're going to come back and keep conversation going around some vulnerability, opening up both their authentic self. We started the conversation last week around men's insecurities. So we're going to lean into opening up our authentic self. Johnny's lifestyle tip, and then we got the creator spotlight before we wrap up the show here. So let's do that. Let's go over here. I get some buttons I got to press. That one there. There we go. There's Johnny's sound.
That's better than the last one. I'll take that. All right. You know me, I love to keep it simple. And these tips are about helping you maximize your 24-hour loop. So here's the deal. All of our brains are like a garden. We've got weeds and we've got flowers. And wherever we put our attention is what we're going to get more of. So think of it like this. If you're thinking about the weeds, you're watering the weeds in your garden. If you're thinking about the flowers, you are watering the flowers in your garden. And we all know whatever you water in your garden is what's going to grow. And what you don't water is going to die. So here's the question. What are you watering in your mind, in your world today? The flowers or the weeds? Remember, always give your attention and the water to the flowers in your world, and you will be much happier and be much more successful. Rock and roll.
Flowers, don't water the weeds. It's funny, John, because you stand on.
I'm sorry, you broke up, bro. What was that?
I said that, when you're standing in the garden and you're watering something, you easily can water those weeds, but in reality, you need to water the flowers because.
And the best part about that is the way our brains are programmed is that you can't water both at the same time. You're either going to water the flowers and you're going to feel gratitude and you're going to be happy, or you're going to water the weeds and you're going to be stressed out. So if you're stressed out, realize that you're watering the weeds. It's time to water some flowers, feel some gratitude, and change your state and have a better day.
Yes. Marty John, over the last week and a half, we've been talking about 14 insecurities that men face. And so far, we have dug into physical appearance and body image. We talked career progress and financial stability. We talked about sexual performance and endurance. We've talked emotional vulnerability and expressing feelings, relationship stability, authenticity, living up to expectations. Late last week, we talked about fatherhood and parenting, social status, popularity, aging and physical decline, and self-worth. Today, for the last part of the show here, guys, I want to talk about mental health and emotional well-being. Did you guys know? Maybe you did know this. I did not know this until I read this yesterday as I was building the show. And thank you, Flinner, for keeping me very prepared, Christina Flynn. Marty, Johnny, suicide rates among men are nearly 4 times higher than women. The National Institute of Mental Health reported in 2023 that men are less likely than women to seek help for mental health issues, with 40%, 4 out of 10 guys listening right now, John, Marty, feeling ashamed to do so. The man up culture, some would say, is killing men. The belief that men must always be tough. Oh, I got to be tough. Leading them to suffer in silence, often with fatal consequences. Oh, I can't go talk to somebody. I don't want to go talk to somebody. Society's demand. John, looking at you first.
Well, I think when it comes down to it, excuse me, society's program is improperly. It's basically told men shouldn't cry, shouldn't ask for help. When it comes down to it, we've been bred to think that's weak. But in actuality, having the strength to cry in front of others, having the strength to reach out because you're struggling, you can't stop watering the weeds in your world and you don't know why, get some help. So remember, it's actually makes you stronger to reach out for help, not weaker.
Mm-hmm. Marty.
Yeah, this is something I could talk about all day. I know I'm a lot younger than you all, but I have a unique perspective on this.
I want to hear.
There's pros and cons to this, right? Now, the cons are, with kind of what John just mentioned. You should be able to cry. You should be able to reach out to people, and kind of just like Adam was talking about, have that small circle of people that you love and trust, and that's who you complain to, you cry to. But the reality is, outside of that, nobody's going to care. And that's just how it is as a man. Is it unfortunate? Absolutely, it's unfortunate. But it's the reality. And sometimes you just have to accept things and adjust and move accordingly. Now, in my opinion, I think that's a blessing, because I think that's going to force men to work harder. It's going to force men to overcome whatever it is they're going through. And I feel like it's going to be paradise on the other side. And I'm in that process now where I'm kind of, I'm younger than you all. I'm working through a lot of those things. A lot of the stuff we talking about, this in particular, is something I deal with. And I feel like, I have my friends that I talk to, but outside of that, I just got to get through my BS, and it's going to be amazing when I get there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There's one thing that I really can't encourage enough, especially amongst our male cohorts, is to call your buddies, share your feelings, share your emotions. Not be afraid to have tears. And I've said it before, not be afraid to reach out to John or Marty or a buddy on your phone and say, hey, man, I'm just thinking about you today. What's going on? How's your head today? Mm-hmm. Right. And their answer is probably going to be, John, I'm fine. Right. Most guys are going to say, I'm fine. No, man, are you really? Are you doing good? Are you and the wife good at home? Are you and your partner great? Or, just those probing and prodding questions, in my experience anyways. You ask somebody 2 or 3 times, by that second or third time, they're saying, Marty might say, Keith, man, I got something really bothering me. Oh, what's going on, man? Let's talk about it. Right. So if there's anything I can offer you guys right now listening to the show, is that lean into your friends today, lean into that circle and just ask the question once, but then ask it again. How they're really feeling. They might
Yes.
surprise you with their answer, Johnny.
Yeah, and on that level too, we as men need to practice being more honest with our response. You know, I one of my best friends from childhood reached out, and he was, you know, we always go through little patches where some days are better than others. And said, how's everything going? Because he knows that I'm working on some big stuff and I'm really holding myself over the fire, nose to the grindstone. And I said to him, he said, how you doing? And he was expecting me to say, I'm good. But what I said was, you know, I have my good days and I have my bad days, but I still look for the good even in the bad. And his initial response was, we need to get on a phone call really soon, thinking that something was wrong. You know, like I wasn't okay. And I told him, I said, no, I said, I'm good. It's yes, I have some challenges around me, but I'm good. But the fact that I was honest out of the gate threw him for a loop.
Yes. It goes back to that trust, doesn't it, Johnny? It goes back to trust in our friendships, right? So
I can tell him anything.
Yes.
And I know I'm going to be okay. And he's, you know, the joke we always make is, look, man, you know, I'll catch that tear before it hits the ground, meaning I'm always going to be there for you.
Yes. Marty?
No, I this exactly what we were just talking about, man. Yeah. You know, you can be honest with those people you love. And I think it's important for men to have a circle and have a community, because like even me being here with you guys, you know, most of my peers are late 20s and 30s. Yes. So me being here with you guys, I can get a perspective on people that's 20 years older than me.
Yes.
So, you know, I feel comfortable, you know, opening up to you all and being honest.
And you know, it's funny because 12 Gate Parliament comes back. It starts that thing though. It says being fine. And you're right. And that's why I like what John said, because gentlemen, it's our responsibility that when your friend reaches out to ask how you're doing, got to give the honest answer. You can't just say fine. I can't just say good, because you're not helping yourself and you're not helping your relationship with your friend who's reaching out to you.
Well, and you know, keep in mind when you give that drone answer, that's the shit you give to the people that are outside your circle. It's almost disrespectful when someone that's inside your circle checks on you and you give them a drone response. It's like saying you don't care enough to be honest. You know what I mean by drone? It's just this robotic. I'm not going to be honest. It's just like, you know, when people say, you know, how you doing? They say, oh, I'm great. They didn't even think about that.
Yes.
I'll say this too. Obviously I'm biased. I'm sure John is biased too. But the gym is another great place to develop your circle. You know, to be honest, those people in the gym, man, I met some of my best friends in the gym, and you know, you're probably going to be on the same page as those people. You're probably going to have similar mindsets. So that's another great place.
What I love about the gym, I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. The gym is the great equalizer, because that 45-pound plate is the same weight to the male, the female, the black person, the white person, the Asian person, the gay person, it's all the same weight, right? So now we can all go and agree that weight's the same. Now, if I can see John trying and failing, Marty trying and failing, I now know that there's some trust, and you're like, okay. Yeah. And so that framework really, I think, helps set the foundation for a good friendship and a good relationship. Because when I see John going under the squat rack, trying to do that lift, I can already tell that he's not, you know, if he's either giving up or trying to get through it. Trust is built in the gym. I really believe it's built in the gym because it's just a raw, honest environment.
Yeah, and you know, it's also really cool about the gym is you can spot the other people, like yourself, who are pursuing failure.
Yes.
You know? I mean, I can't tell you, you know, you can clearly see it. You know, I mean, back in the day when I was teaching myself to really, really lean into failure, I would take a squat bar off the rack on the outside of the cage, and I had zero intention of putting it away. I was going to crash. I was going to squat it till I couldn't do anymore. And I got to tell you, the people that were drawn to that were the ones that were trying to figure out. They knew there was power there. They just didn't know how to do it yet. So when you find that person who's leaning in to trying to really better themselves and progress, they're going to be drawn to the type of behavior that you display in the gym if you are truly leaning into failure.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I gotta tell Business Athlete Nation and to our audience tuning in here right now to our show, like, our audience is witnessing in real time trust being built. Because Nation, I didn't know John Anderson or see Marty Fit until I interviewed them on Live in the Lab months ago. I met Marty last October. I met John late last year. We did a show together, had a conversation together. We all went back to our lives. And when I was doing the morning show, I knocked on Marty's door, said, "Hey, do you want to come help out?" And he was like, "Oh, I'll come check out." Did some research and he joined, and he's every single day. He's like, "Yeah, I'm all in with this guy." And then we had John on the show, and John was curious. But what you're seeing here, my point is that you're watching trust being built. We're showing up every single day, and John's going, "Okay, well, Keith's showing up every single day. Marty's going, Keith's showing up every single day. I'm watching John show up every single day." You're watching these relationships being built on trust right in front of you guys. And that to me is pretty exceptional. Because for me, guys, Johnny, I'm going to use the L word. I'm watching love come to life, frankly, because I love working with you guys, and I love building this trust in between the camera with what we do every single day.
Yes. And here's another thing too. In our society, our world,
yes,
we don't have enough people that don't miss. And I pride myself. I don't miss. I'm going to be, if I commit to something, I'm going to do it. Even the simplest, littlest things. All of my self-care, I don't miss. Some days might be better than the next, but in us on this show, we don't miss. We're here every day. And people in the current world there's not enough people that don't miss. And when you find someone that doesn't miss, you start to realize, damn, there's something here, and they're drawn to it.
Yes, I agree.
I want to add something. I want to add something. We could talk about this more offline, so I won't get too specific. But when I had a conversation with Keith about some changes, to the show, I shared it with someone close to me, and they were like, "You're still going to do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I committed to this. I said I'm all in. I can't just, things change, things fluctuate, and that goes along with everything we're talking about."
It spoke volumes to me about you, Marty, and it spoke volumes to Maurice, to OGG about you. Right. So, and then what it does for me and what it does when I see you guys showing up every single day, it just reiterates the love. And I'm going to use the word again that's being built here, because that's how businesses are built. Trust is built. Friendships are built, and you can do it across the lens of a camera. So, all right, we're at the 23-minute mark after the hour here. We're wrapping up. Jimmy, we are going to do the Creator Spotlight. What a great conversation today, guys. What a great show. We started our chat about the single ingredient food and macronutrients, and it all started yesterday with Jared losing those 176 pounds. And you can see by the conversations in the feeds, guys, people want to talk about this. They're curious about food. They're curious about, John, what you teach, which is eat more to lose less. But they go, what? John's saying eat more food to lose weight? No, to maybe not lose weight, to become lean. It's about composition, body aesthetics. So again, we want to change terminologies around here and help educate you guys. But people are really curious about the stuff we're talking about here this morning, guys. So we're going to keep that going. All right.
Real quick, brother, one thing I'd just like to add moving forward to what we're doing here, because it seems like I'm recognizing a pattern. Somewhere right about the tail end of the show, usually when we do the Creator Spotlight, I start wiggling. So when that Creator Spotlight comes on,
you go.
Put me in the green room so I can go have a piss.
All right, John
like a plan.
John's going for a pee. We're going to do the Creator Spotlight, then we're going to come back and
run. I'm good.
All right, Marty's going to hang out with me and celebrate the Creator. Johnny's going to go and do his thing, and then we're going to come back and say goodbye. All right, so Johnny, you head out of here. Me and Marty are going to go celebrate our Creator Spotlight today. Hey, Marty, he is older than I am. So he's 2 months older than me. So that's the good news, is that I have something to look forward to. So, all right. So today's Creator Spotlight. Jimmy, you ready to rock and roll, brother? All right. So today's Creator Spotlight, I met this guy last week. He is in House of Bricks community, Marty. This guy is building up businesses and nonprofits through a philanthropic community. He's the co-CEO and co-founder. He's from Venezuela, Marty, and we know Venezuela is just in a cluster of politics and political. I know, right? The American government's confiscating the guy's airplane and all that kind of.
That's another conversation. Maybe tomorrow we'll get into that.
Maybe tomorrow, right? But anyways, if he's tuning in right now, and I know he listens to the show, he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" No, maybe we are. He lives in Colombia now. He's got his business set up in Austin, Texas. He runs a company, Marty, that's well, let's go back it up here. So Listen, let's just go here. Let's take Jimmy. Let's take today's creator spotlight and shine the light on somebody who I have had the pleasure of getting to know and are going to have some further meetings. Marty, we're going to have him on the show in the coming weeks. I think we're going to do a segment with him. But today's creator spotlight is somebody who's exceptionally awesome. Had a great meeting with him last week. His name is Mario Hernandez. Mario, I didn't have your face up there on the screen. So Mario is the CEO of Noble. Marty, they are a philanthropic. So my mom would say the philanthropic organization that helps that's doing some great work around social entrepreneurship and active entrepreneurship. He launched Movilla Solutions and exited for 5 times in IOC Enterprise Mobility SaaS. He founded and bootstrapped AquaSuave, a water treatment venture in the Dominican Republic, securing an exclusivity deal with Connecticut from 0 to a 6-figure exit and over 1 million plastic bottles saved. Now, Mario is leading Noble, where they transform everyday activities into corporate giving donations, leveraging tech and AI to enhance employee engagement and elevate customer retention. At Noble, what you'll gain by connecting with Mario is you're going to get insights into leveraging technology for social impact, guidance on crafting unique leadership. I invite you to check out Mario Hernandez's LinkedIn page, doing some awesome things with Noble. If you're into social impact and you're a social entrepreneur, you're going to want to check out some of the stuff that Mario's doing. We got him coming on the show. And Marty, I think we're going to do some stuff with Mario and what he's doing with social entrepreneurship and social impact, and maybe even create a segment on the show where we can celebrate some of the work that Noble's doing and celebrate some of the companies that he's working with from the social impact side of things. So Mario Hernandez, today we're congratulating you for Creator Spotlight. Mornings in the Lab. I look forward to welcoming you here in the coming days, my friend, onto the show. All right, gonna bring Johnny back on stage. We're gonna wrap up our segment here. We got some comments coming in from the feeds here. Billy Pollitt is saying, "Thank you, gentlemen, for having these tough types of conversations." Yes, Billy, our ambition here is to have conversations that other men aren't having. We're having them here in the lab. We talk emotion, sensibility, trust, crying, bringing things to the table. Our goal is to help you guys get your day started. Get the loop started and get your asses out of bed and hit and achieve those big, audacious goals. And Johnny, we got Rick coming in here on the horizontal feed as well, saying, he says here, Rick says, "Oh yeah, the hire slow and fire fast." But then he says, John, dependability and consistency is a vanishing trait these days. Thank you. Love this. Enjoying the conversation. He's right. Oh, I don't know where we lost. Oh, there is Johnny right there. But yeah, Rick's talking about the fact that, dependability, consistency, vanishing traits. Johnny, comment on that. Oh, got you muted here, pal.
You got to put him in the horizontal too.
Yeah, we lost him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you're there. You're there, buddy. Keep going. Yeah, so true. So true. You got to own your word to yourself before you can earn your word with everybody else. All right, we're coming up to the bottom of the show, guys. The show is over. We started the show 90 minutes ago. We dug into foods you should be eating. We dug into a lot of great chats around vulnerability, trust process. We talked about, we wrapped up our conversation around mental health and men, being strong with yourself, being strong with your friends and reaching out and so forth. So, boys, let's get out of here. We got a big day. Got a big, the loop continues. Johnny, what's going on in your loop today, pal? When you get out of the show, where are you off to next?
Today is a recovery day from actually resistance training. So I'm actually looking forward to that. My body is sore and it needs a day to rest. So I'm just going to stay focused on being productive with lots of other areas of my life, which keeps me very excited. And I'm just looking forward to a really, really positive day.
Awesome. I love how you lean into your body on feelings. I'm still listening to you on that. And I'm actually, to be honest, I'm paying a little more attention to what you've been saying with myself too, which is I typically have my structured days, but I've been, paying attention to some of the things you're saying, which is pay attention to your body. And maybe that's an age thing, Johnny. That's just kind of those age things. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm listening to John a little more about my body, right? So Marty, what's going on with you today, brother?
I do the same with my body, but
yeah.
But I got big dog leg day today. It ain't no listen to the body today. We getting to work today. All right, let's get it. Squats, deadlifts, hip thrusts. I'm doing the whole lunges, the whole thing. I might even hit the sled today. That's how I'm feeling today.
Hey, me too. We got the same thing, man. I got deads. I got landmine. I got sled. I got to run. I got to ride in this morning, and then I think I'm going to go for a walk today, boys. I'm going to think at some point, Johnny, I'm going to do a low impact, put my headset on, and just go for a walking meeting, and I'm going to kill two birds with one stone.
Yes.
All right. So, all right, boys. I love you guys, man. I'm telling you that on the air. I love you, Johnny. I love you, Marty. I'm enjoying building this with you guys. I love coming to work every single day and tuning into the show and knowing you're there, John, knowing you're there, Marty, and the trust that we are building for our audience. And this is what a great comment here. Billy, you're a good man trying to help us wherever you can. Thank you. Good stuff, boys. Billy, thank you, man. Listen, I ask you to subscribe to the channel, Mornings in the Lab. It helps us out. It helps us build this show. Subscribe, comment, share with your friends, tell your family. We are trying to, we are attempting, we are going to, we are in the middle of building the biggest morning show on the planet for men, 8 o'clock Eastern time, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. We go Monday to Friday. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day, Real Deal. Have a great day, Billy. Have a good day. A good time, Fearless, everybody out there. See you guys later.